Hey, folks, it is another week. You are here with the go to girls for AI, Marcy Newell, and me, Amber Ivy, aka AI. So, we're super excited about a lot of new advancements, not fully new. Some things are within a week, so it still
Yeah.
counts as news of the week. We're really excited about some of the new things that are happening. This week, we'll make sure to dive deep in a couple topics, but we're going to go pretty lightning fast through the other topics just so we can dump all the stuff that we have because the last few weeks, we haven't been able to get through it all. So, we're going to try our very best to get through a lot of different topics and we'll dive in on a couple. With that being said, Marcy, what's up? What's happening this week?
All right. So, by the way, this week I'm going to be pretty calm because I know last week was a little intense, but we do have so many um, updates. I actually had to cut it down, like you said,
Mhm.
because there's just so much stuff that's going on. So, we're going to start off kind of heavy because last week we discussed AI laws and policies. And we
Mhm.
were talking about how quickly these orders could happen. So as soon as we dropped that video, like 1 hour later, Biden created an executive order. So I was like, oh man, we were like right at the cutoff line. So I kind of want to start with that so that we can kind of connect last week and this week. So um, it was called, if you want to look it up for yourself, the executive order states that it's addressing U.S. investments in certain national security technologies and products in countries of concern. Now, I know that's a long title. You're like, what the heck does that have to do with AI? So I'm going to just go straight to one primary section that's relevant to AI, and that's in section 3. So one of the big important points is that now the US is requiring certain companies, well, not certain companies, it's requiring companies to notify the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Treasury and any other relevant departments. And let me quote exactly so I don't, randomly paraphrase. So
Mhm.
section 3 states that later on they can add or remove technologies and products in the semiconductor and microelectronics, quantum information technology, and artificial intelligence sectors. Now, I know that's a mouthful. So, what does that have to do with anything? Well, right now, there is a huge AI chip shortage, especially from NVIDIA, right?
Mhm.
So this is specifically relevant because last week we were discussing how um, different companies were trying to import more AI chips to China.
Right.
And now the government's like, no, we're going to start regulating these issues.
Mhm.
So the purpose of me even bringing this up, of course, that's a big impact on the economy. But I also want to let me not push it so far. But how is
Yeah,
that
keep
going
it neutral.
to how does that really affect innovation? Because if now we actually have a product that so many other countries want, right? It's putting us
Mhm.
as the market leader. They want this product from us when typically we're the ones going to other countries and importing from them. Um, how is that going to affect so many of these other countries being able to not only innovate but advance at the same rate? So I think that's like a huge point of discussion because
Mhm.
we know that we are in alliance with so many countries. If they're only limiting, for example, let's just use China, and then other countries are like, well, could that also happen to us if you're having a shortage? How are we then going to keep up as other economies that we're not as advanced as you? Is that going to happen to us? I'm sure they're thinking that as well, even if we're allies.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think having this shortage brings up so many issues within our economy. So I know you're the law person. You can help us with all the government stuff. So what do you think about how this is going to affect us in innovation, being with our allies, even with people who we're not allies with? How do you think this executive order is going to affect us?
So I think I understand what you're saying when it comes to innovation, right? I get that we want
Mhm.
folks to innovate. The good thing is NVIDIA is based here in the US. So it's good for the US, right? But it's not good
Yeah.
for what they call countries of concern,
Hmm.
does include countries like China, because what the US government is really concerned about is that if they allow countries that they're technically not friendly with right now advance in
Mhm.
technology sectors, that these advancements could actually give them benefit on the military side and the intelligence side. So they could have
Yeah.
complete advantage over the US and its allies with these advanced technologies. So I believe the hope of this order is to like counteract some of that and regulate and monitor US investments that might help these countries get a hand up, right? Because US is all about, well, I'll leave this to myself. US says it promotes like open innovation and the want to do that. But please believe at the end of the day, we're going to protect our interests and our borders. So this, I
Yeah.
think, was really a military slash intelligence play, less of like we want to stop innovation. That's where the reading for me was.
Yeah, so I think we probably are what gonna have to maybe sacrifice. Well, maybe not on our end, but
No,
because we're
let me
here.
tell you, it's not gonna happen.
But I wonder how that's going to affect because I'm thinking from like the business core,
Mhm.
business
Right.
side, the marketing side, because that's what my
Mhm.
channel is
Right.
about. So I always think, because it's like a ripple effect, right? Because okay, we're good right now, but then what
Mhm.
happens if they start implementing more policies about, well, how do you do your AI business over there? So it's like I
Mhm.
understand, and I do think, what you said is the most important, of course. Um, but the trickle down effect to the economy
Mhm.
at home, if there are going to be maybe job losses because of AI, and if we can't then expand to other
Mhm.
countries because they're limited in AI, that's eventually going to trickle back to us. So it's like we're kind of like in that catch 22, caught between what is the
Mhm.
quote? The stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so what do you think about that? Or like the
So
timeline. I'm
I'm
not
a
I'm not even
I'll put on
sure.
2 hats. I'll put on a business hat. So on a business hat, if NVIDIA was TSM or that semiconductor company and they were doing the AI and then they were told they could not import to us, that would be a huge
Yeah.
problem. Because
Yeah.
NVIDIA is a US company and is the leader in AI chips, as far as I understand, we're
Mhm.
okay right now. I actually think it makes it where China has to become even more advanced to get to the level they need to be and actually creates competition in China for their companies to
Yeah.
go all in to figure it out. I think
Mhm.
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot. I mean,
Oh,
my
the second
mind was
hat
like,
though.
when I
I forgot the
go
second
ahead,
hat.
say
I
it
did
again.
some shooting that. I said I forgot the second thing. I said 2 hats, I only put on 1. So on the business side, I do think it's gonna actually push competition because NVIDIA is already at the front. Now China will figure it out. I'm not
Yeah.
worried about them figuring it out. They already figured out a whole bunch of stuff. They will figure it out. Again, if it
Yeah.
was here, I would be a little bit more concerned if we were the only ones or we were out bringing in from other borders. The other piece is like on the legal side, I get it 100%. On the policy side, I get why they're doing it. I'm not saying I
Yeah.
agree with it, but I do understand that AI has the potential to truly change how we think about military and intelligence. Like we were talking about
Yeah.
how even a couple weeks ago, someone's smartphone can listen to your keystrokes and hear what you're doing. So if those are the possibilities of the future, intelligence is going to change so drastically. So the US has to
Mhm.
get ahead of that to be
Yeah.
able to even compete if they're thinking about it in that way. So that's my thoughts on
Yeah.
that.
And I hope we advance just as fast and as much, it's a lot. I don't know. My head was spinning when I was reading that. So I'm just like, what could
Mhm.
happen? So I was like, let me calm down. Can't always foreshadow everything, but
Living
so
today. All we
um,
got is today. And not even today. We got this
um,
second.
pretty much. All right, so next up we have something really interesting. So it's with IBM. They
Mhm.
made an announcement that they're collabing with Microsoft, and it
Oh
says to
yeah.
help joint clients accelerate deployment of generative AI. Now, you know me, I'm always reading between the lines and trying to find connections that may or may not be there. So this is just my opinion, just as a disclaimer. Um, but, I'm thinking of last week, or was it the week before? Recently, within the last 2 weeks, when, of course, we're talking about Llama 2 with Meta
Yep.
and with Microsoft. And I'm like, wait a minute. So IBM with Watson, which is their AI software,
Oh
they
yeah, I
have one
love
of the
watching.
most advanced when it comes to like research topics. They actually have
And medicine.
more of an say it again.
And medicine.
They yeah, and they have one of the most I think advanced systems for research, right? So when I heard Microsoft, finding new BFFs together, and I'm like, wait a minute. If we have Meta with Llama 2, right? The ability to uh I mean, we already discussed it. It's amazing, right? Trying
Yeah,
to implement their research model. And if Microsoft then has Azure, I know I probably say it wrong every single time,
you got it.
but
Got it this time. Yep.
so if we have IBM with research, we have Llama 2 implementing for the purpose of research, we have Microsoft having the Azure business to business consumers. Then they also
Mhm.
have the Microsoft Office suite that's able to deploy certain systems to
Oh yeah.
millions of US citizens at corporate and a university level. I'm like,
Mhm.
so BFF, Microsoft being right in the middle, I'm like, that is like the perfect power team to really start putting a new, larger system to everyone in the US like quickly. And
Oh
when I
yeah.
saw this, I mean, once again, it's my opinion, but I was like, I wonder if people starting to realize how valuable that partnership is, even if it's not like they're not immediately connected, like Meta and IBM right now in that
Mhm.
specific sense. But
Oh yeah.
um
They're not. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
that connection for me, I was like, just perked my ears up a tiny bit, like, wow. Especially because for research, that's my field. So I was like, what is going on, Microsoft? Because they are making extremely powerful strategic partnerships.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, I hope people are paying attention. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I was looking at the press release they sent out. So they talked about a few things. So one, I'll talk about in order of importance for me. So the first was like IBM, excuse me. I'm now mad I sold the stocks, but the stock market is also going down. So I guess I'm okay. But either way, I am mad that I sold some stocks too early. Anywho, you can always buy them again. So IBM, I don't know why I keep saying IBM and Microsoft are coming together for a few things. They said one was like enterprise search. So being able to develop
Mhm,
a extraction tool that can pull out knowledge and retrieving information from vast databases. So that is a something that's needed currently in the field, and using generative AI to
yeah,
do that would be amazing because so many companies have access to all this information, and a lot of people, even a few people, have contacted me about how to use generative AI to pull the data out of their databases. So the fact
yeah,
that Microsoft even and IBM are thinking about doing enterprise search, I think that's huge. Second, is procurement and what it looks like to combine their resources to automate sourcing and procurement processes. Procurement in general is not a good field. I almost said garbage, but I said it anyway. But there's a lot of issues when it comes to procurement or trying to get new technologies and sourcing new technologies or sourcing new vendors and things like that. There's a whole issue
mhm,
there. So the fact that they're actually coming together and they're two of the big players in the procurement space, especially in government contracting, if they can come to a solution for us to understand how we do that, that would be amazing.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
third on my list, or third on their list, is content generation. So they're thinking about content generation from a different way. So more so focus on financial institutions and what it means
mhm,
for them to use AI to create content or personalized content. So imagine with them working with a company where they can process and summarize your financial reports and then convert them
mhm,
into an audio version. They were talking about that. And then the
yeah,
last area, which I think is the most important out of all the ones they mentioned, is around IBM consulting using Azure's OpenAI service.
mhm,
Their hope is to use it in healthcare. So they're going to take it to
yeah,
automate the review of complex medical records to assist healthcare professionals and basically provide them with a virtual assistant. This is something I've been waiting for since Open AI actually release ChatGPT for the public, because we could
Mhm.
literally reduce a huge administrative burden. We can enhance the clinical experience. I have health issues, so for me, this is like a game changer. And
Yeah.
full transparency, I've used ChatGPT to look at my labs. Y'all can judge me if you want to, but I've used it in that way myself. So now that there's a
Yeah.
tool that can help augment and support doctors in the medical field, I think that's going to change the game, and people are going to get the diagnosis that we didn't have before. So I'm here for it.
And cross-reference information, like,
Oh
to
yeah.
reduce those mistakes and see what's
Mhm.
going on. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where that goes. Like, it seems like such a small announcement, but I'm like, read between the lines, people. What is going
I think it's
on?
big. I think it is
Yeah,
big because this you got 2 power players. IBM is like the old school, both of them are old school gangsters who've been in this game for
pretty
a very long
much.
time. Yeah, so they've been in it for so long. So the fact that they're coming together, that to me is wild. The other piece that was interesting in the press release, they talked about how if you get those services, they'll partner you with the AI consultant, a generative AI consultant. So they have like over a
Yeah,
thousand consultants that can literally come in and work with your company. So I believe a lot of people, when that becomes available for the public, they're gonna hop on that and sign up for those services for sure.
yeah. So it's exciting, man. We're only on like what, 2 announcements already?
Oh
It's
yeah, but we're
deep.
not going deep on the others. So we got into our deep stuff. We'll go quick through the rest. And I may
All right,
add
so
slight commentary that isn't too long, I promise.
yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. So, now next up, we have something a little bit more fun and interesting. Because I know recently or excuse me, if you are on Snapchat, you probably heard about or experienced the issue with the Snapchat AI bot, that went rogue. Well, they
Mhm.
called it a glitch. So basically, users were being ignored when they were trying to chat with the conversational AI bot. And then they found like this random kind of like dual tone colored image, and people thought it looked like their ceiling. They thought that it was maybe taking pictures of, within their household.
Oh,
So people were really worried about their
mhm.
privacy. Like, what's going on? Is this AI like taking over my phone, or whatever happened? But then Snapchat came out and it said, okay, no, it was just a temporary glitch. But users were like, what about my privacy? What's going on? What's so it
Dear
was a
users,
crazy,
there's
yeah.
no privacy.
um so it was a crazy scenario, but it just shows you like everything's still not perfect. There's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
glitches, there's gonna be issues. Um we really don't know on the back end what really happened, so I can't
Right.
speak for the company.
Mhm.
Um so I don't know, it's a crazy situation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next up, of course, every week we try to bring you something helpful, to help you with AI and try to get into the AI industry. So Google now has the generative AI learning path courses, right? So
So
they do
exciting.
have 10 of
I feel
them.
like I need drums for that.
And then so really there's no excuse because so many people talk, okay, well, how do I learn? And it's like, well, they're
Mhm.
free. So let me go through them really quick. And each one
Mhm.
takes about 1 day to complete so that you can really start learn the
And how
vocabulary.
many are in
Try to,
how many modules total?
there are 10
Okay.
courses. So the first one
Mhm.
is the intro to generative AI. Number two is the intro to large language models. Number three is the intro to responsible AI. Number four is generative AI fundamentals. Number five is intro to image generation. Number six is encoder decoder architectures. Number seven is
Mhm.
attention mechanisms. Number eight is transformer models and the BERT model. And number nine is create image captioning models. And number 10 is intro to generative AI studio. So there
That's
are
awesome.
a lot of free tools to learn pretty much everything to get you started in one field of AI. There has to be something that interests you in that list, right? Um,
Oh, yeah.
to even review. And like I
There's
said, each
plenty.
one only
I'm
takes
ready
one
to
day.
go ahead and yeah, I'm ready to get into it myself. That's a really good list.
Yeah. So it's just something you can learn something, right? All
Mhm.
right. So next up, we have another news report from Tencent, which is a Chinese company. And they released that they believe that they're actually going to create one of China's most powerful AI models for gaming, for cloud
Okay.
software, and in the financial tech industry. And they plan on releasing that at the end of the year. And if you don't know who Tencent is one of the companies, for example, that they make WeChat. In
Mhm.
Asia, this is like, think about it, like probably one of the most popular, chat apps. So it's a
Mhm.
huge company. So it's extremely interesting to see. I'm like, wow, okay, that's a big statement to say you're one of the best now in China.
Oh, yeah.
I know earlier this year
Clearly,
they
they
were
must
having
have
some
something to back
issues.
it up.
Huh? Say it again.
I was saying clearly they must have something to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, next week we can probably talk more about the Asian side of the tech companies because, to
Mhm.
be honest, they have more advanced systems. I'm just gonna put it plainly. Some of their systems are far more advanced, as far as their usage, but that's only because in China they have an AI infrastructure already set.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
much easier to start expanding certain software because everybody's already interconnected. We don't have that type of
Mm-mm.
infrastructure implemented yet to the level that they do. Right? Like they
That's a
can
good
see
point.
when you don't fill up your garbage cans properly, people. Okay, it's deep, right? You may not be able to get on the bus if your score ain't right. So some
She's
stuff you
referring
want
to
to
the
fight for.
social Yeah, she's referring to the social score that China implemented some years back, that basically
Yeah.
dings you if you do not behave in society and practice
Mhm.
social harmony, which is very big in China.
Yeah. So be careful what you ask for. We may not want to be that advanced because
I
if I
don't.
have to get on the bus, I don't need to check my social score. So that's a lot. um, Especially if they would see these YouTube videos, they'd be like,
Yeah,
"No, ma'am, you're
automatically
not getting on here."
rejected.
All right. So, and then similar kind of topic. This week, I need to double check. But in Beijing, I believe it was the 14th. They made an announcement that they're going to also start implementing more AI regulations. They had
Okay.
already like 24 guidelines, but now they're going to try to make it more strict. So I wonder because if I believe this was like around the 14th when they said this, but we made our executive order on the 9th, I believe, which was a few days later. I wonder how they're going to adapt their new regulations in response to the executive order that happened. So we
I
may
don't
have
know
to do
about
maybe
that
a
one.
quick, you said
Yeah.
what?
I said, I don't know about that
So
one.
we
That's
may
something
have,
I would definitely need to think about.
yeah, because, retaliation as far as, what are we going to do in response? We know how that goes. So it's an
Mhm.
interesting topic. I have to look that up later, and then we can maybe post like a quick, 5-minute update to let people know about the regulations. That way you don't have to wait all week, and then
Oh,
you can
yeah.
just be caught up. Okay. Next up we have this is more of like a quick dilemma because with all of these new regulations and policies, I also want individuals to start understanding that once we actually do implement AI, many of these companies on the back end, when we're looking at their requirements for new employees and hiring and all of these issues, they always like it'll be like one sentence. It'll be like, oh, highly trained professionals or highly
Mhm.
educated individuals, because we know that with AI, um, a lot of companies are also letting a lot of people go. Okay. That
Mhm.
means that the individuals that are going to come in to take these AI jobs, they do want them to be they're going to be more trained. They're going to be
Oh,
highly
yeah.
educated. They're going to have a higher level of skill set. So even though there are a lot of free courses, there are a lot of um, just videos and tutorials and all these people giving information, I always have to pose a very serious thing because I don't give false hope. Right. My
Mhm.
main priority as far as educating people is to bring people to reality. I'm not going to give you this fake, false perception of what can possibly happen. So I need for you
Mhm.
guys to understand the competition is going to be serious. Because if you
Mhm.
think all of these jobs, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not doing things on your own, and you're not building your own AI apps, and you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to find a job that pays me, $500,000, $900,000. In the beginning, that may be true. But until you start looking at the requirements of education that you need in order to enter those fields, you better get a quick reality check, because yes, the courses are great to help you, especially if you have your own
Mhm.
business or if you're trying to enter the field, but you have to have a true understanding of the competition that's going to start coming out. This
Mhm.
is like the real Shark Week, because now you're going to start meeting people who are extremely trained, they're
Mhm.
competitive, and sorry, they won't have empathy, they won't have sympathy for you. So every single time, every week, I'm going to just pop that in. Don't fall for these people telling you it's all going to be sunflowers and rainbows, because you're going to start realizing, oh, you mean there are people who can actually do this because they're trained mathematicians? Uh, yes, darling, it is. This competition is
Mhm.
going to get serious. So start
Let me
educating
jump
yourself.
in Let me jump in on that one. I
Yeah.
wanna say, because regardless of your field, the idea of
Hmm.
expert has kinda gone out of the window. So, an expert is
Yeah.
supposedly trained 10,000 hours in a particular topic. So, just a reminder,
Hmm.
regardless of your field, whether you're gonna go into AI or not, just make sure whatever you're doing, you're trying to be the best and you're continuously learning. That's the main,
Hmm.
like, message out of this. Like, you wanna be the best at what you do. You wanna find your niche. Like, where's your intersection with this world or with the new things that are coming on the horizon? Because you can be an amazing doctor who utilizes AI tools in the healthcare field, just like we've heard, or you can be an amazing entrepreneur who use some of these tools to grow your product in some way or another. So I want
Yes.
y'all to realize that whatever you do, just do it at the best ability. Even if it's not AI or these things, you should always try to be the best at your field and try to figure out what your niche is or the thing that only you can do that folks will
Hmm.
always pay you for. Like if you
Yes.
get very clear about that, it's very hard to be unemployed when you have that niche and folks know you are the go-to. So figure out how to be the go-to for whatever it is that you do.
Exactly. That's why I say entrepreneurship. That's the whole reason I started my channel, is to
Mhm.
tell people, look, you need to look at what you are capable of. Don't just be dependent upon what other people tell you or give you. But you just have to be aware of everything. I love your balance, because I know I can be extreme on one side, but my channel is still about business and marketing and entrepreneurship.
Right.
So I just want people to be, self-reliant,
Mhm.
and then just don't get caught up in the hype. It's like, always look out for yourself, people, man.
Mhm.
Like, find out, like Amber said, you need to find your own skill sets and make it the best.
Oh yeah.
You know what else I hate? I have to mention, I know probably people think
What?
like, oh my gosh, why? But I have to say it, because it's like this mentality of people that say it's just me against me. You know, don't worry
What do you
about
mean?
being just, it's like they think the competition is just when I look in the mirror. It's just
Oh.
competition is just me. I have to be better than myself. And I'm like, look, that's the psychology side. You have to push yourself to be the best in life, yes. But then you step out the door and then reality hits you. You're still competing against other people in this world. Even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're starting your own business,
Right.
there's still competition. Yes,
Mhm.
internally you do have to try to push yourself to be the best version of yourself, to become self-actualized, but please don't be delusional. It's like, I'm sorry, I love motivation and inspiration, but you cannot be delusional. You're still competing against somebody. Go ahead and try to run some ads and you think it's you against you, and you don't realize there's 2,000 other people trying to sell the exact same product to an affiliate network. Okay, like, be real, people. So I just like to snap the bubble, because, not because I'm a pessimist, but I'm a realist, and I want the best for you, and I want you guys to thrive, to be successful, and to not fall into the hype of, delusion. So I had to say it. I mean,
Marcy's, we need to call those something. We need to figure out a name for when you have your
I don't
moments of
know.
marketing. Marcy's marketing moments. There we go. MMM. A lot of words. Go ahead.
I
What's
thought people
next on
would
the
say
list?
it's the negative. It's like the negativity of reality. It's like, but no, it's like I really want the best for everyone, because
Mhm.
I feel like I have to be like, the sister that someone doesn't have is like, look, I want you to be successful. I want you to follow your dreams. I want you to have everything. Look, AI has huge opportunities, but I would not be ethical if I did not tell you the other side so that you can prepare.
Oh yeah.
That would be that I don't care about you if I don't prepare you for the reality. And then you
Hmm.
do all the other positive things around it. But as long as you're aware, it's just awareness. That's all.
No,
It's
that
a
makes
whole
sense.
bunch of these lying motivational speakers on here. So I got to tell people the real. I can't help it. Sorry.
Go
They
for it.
bother me every week.
That's clear. You need to take a template for that, or not a template. Take a notepad and just write down what's happening
I need
next.
a
Right?
diary.
Yeah, and that's what I
Dear
meant. That's a
diary.
template. Dear diary,
There was another
marketing
fake
professionals
expert
stress
today
me
on
out,
YouTube. Today
and
they
it
tried to
stressed me
lie to
out.
people again.
But that's reality though, right? Like let's not
No.
pretend like with the invention of the internet and access to information, it is a lot of folks who are just selling hopes and dreams because hopes and dreams
Mhm.
sell. Let's all be honest. We all have bought into
Pretty
something that
much.
may not have been true. So you just got to be wise about how you interact with the content on the YouTube, even our content. Like I don't believe in listening to anything full stop without doing your own research. So even as you're
Yeah.
learning from us, most of the time YouTubers put in the what do you call it, in the description or whatever, in the description of the episode about what's happening and try to link you to the things that are happening. Take this
Mhm.
opportunity to learn more so you can see how it happens, because every time, even on my podcast, when I talk about these topics, I'm like, I ask folks, what do you recommend, and they say just learn. Like, learning is the only thing you
Mhm.
can do to combat the information that folks are putting out there, because otherwise you're not going to know, because you don't know what you
Yeah.
don't know.
But at least with us, they know they're not gonna get garbage and a whole bunch of trash. So
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes
welcome
we
to
do
the
go
side
over
of reality, people. Welcome. You have found your tribe.
there.
We do know you know my phrase. This is a no public relations zone. Okay. You're
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna get
fair.
PR from me. I'm gonna give you the hardcore truth without any
But PR
bias.
should also
All
be
right.
true.
You said what? What'd
PR
you
should
say?
also just be true. I was like, they should just make that true in general. But I get what you're
Yeah, but
saying. Like,
they mix it
it's
with
not
their
the
own little
sidestepping or
narcissistic
making it sound
lies.
good. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you.
Anyway, all right, let's move on. So next up, we do have something funny. So there's a company called AirAI, and they're a customer service chatbot. And it was kind of like an interesting video. A customer was called from the Tesla because they were doing like a Tesla
Oh
customer
yeah, I saw
service
that.
call.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow. So like the person at first didn't even know that this was like an AI person. And I looked in the site and
Hmm.
it's like they can hold a conversation between 10 to 40 minutes. And I
Hmm.
was like, that's I mean, wow. Like my mind was blown. So how do you feel about being called by Tesla if it was
I
like an
expect
AI
it,
customer person?
honestly.
You thought they were real.
Yeah, I expected. I listened to the thing. You could tell if you actually were paying attention, you could tell there was a delay. Like when it gets better,
Mhm.
the delay will not be as quick, but you can tell it was a delay and it was still kind of robotic. So even when I heard it, I was like, you can still kind of say Tesla's one not calling you. That's not how they operate. So if you have a Tesla, they don't call you. But that's just how it works. But I do understand how it did sound human enough where if I
Yeah.
was not paying attention, if it was like a company that I know calls me, I would have listened to the person and I probably never figured it out it was AI. I can really say that.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's like I wonder if that's just going to now be like a thing where people questions like, do we ask them, are you AI? Are you real? Because it's already
That's a
hard,
good question.
like trying to
And see if
get
it
a
answers.
human. You said what?
And see if it answers.
Yeah, so it's like I just wonder if that's now something that has to be implemented, more laws and policies. Like, do you have
Mhm.
to make a disclaimer to the customers, hey, this is an AI customer service rep? And then is it going to give me the option to then request a human agent, human representative?
Mhm.
Because I know I hate calling customer service and they put you through that whole process. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
please, human rep, agent, representative, person. It's like, what term do you use for your
You gotta
system so I can
scream. That's the main part. The louder you get.
oh, this is how old I am. You see this?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Shit, like, what does the Gen Z do now? This, and I'm like,
I
it's like, yeah, I'm in my
No,
30s,
but
people. I'm
they
in my
definitely should
30s.
consider laws about like, kinda like the spam. So we got there with spam, right? So spam now,
Hmm.
if you're gonna text, it's likely spam or phone call, at least my phone, it tells you it's likely spam. I imagine that they're gonna have to put regulations in place where, telecom companies are gonna have to or companies that are using telecommunications are gonna have to be able to tell folks. But again, that has to be a law that's passed at the federal level where they
Hmm.
say, "Hey, this is a problem." So hopefully folks are thinking about that, especially after AI Air released that, and it went pretty viral. So I think a lot of people
Yeah.
saw it. But we have to get to the point of the law should have to require that. I know they've been talking about laws where even on content online that you'll have to put in there that it was written by AI. We're gonna have to get to that
Hmm.
point at some point because one, AI also needs to know when it's AI versus
Hmm.
human. So how it's learning and training, and humans should also very much so know. And there's
Yeah.
also I was on some site, I can't remember where it was requiring it for pictures that if the AI picture was generated, you had to tell the person. So I
Yeah.
know people are doing things on their own, but that has to come from top down for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot. All right. So next up, this actually is part of more like the marketing AI news. So
Hmm.
IBM is partnering with the U.S. Open, for tennis,
Oh.
to develop a digital experience so that tennis fans can just have just I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna do yet. So I don't know if it's gonna be like maybe mobile experience or just to get more people feel like they're there or
Hmm.
some sort of immersive experience. I'm not sure yet, but they are gonna use that partnership to create some sort of experience for the US Open.
Okay.
So the marketing aspect of it is like, man, if you don't have, let's say you are trying to have, if you do have a marketing agency, you really have to now start implementing like an AI sector for
Hmm.
your
Oh yeah.
agency. And is that going to start reducing marketing jobs? Because now they can use AI software to make videos and photography and immersive
Hmm.
experience and event. And it's like that's going to reduce a lot of new marketing jobs as well. And I was like, wow,
Hmm.
because we have to think about the photographers, the videographers, the assistants to
Oh
those
yeah.
people, the people who make props. If they're
Hmm.
doing everything with AI, man, that can also be a big cut of profit for many companies if they are not implementing AI into their
Oh yeah.
marketing agencies.
AI
So,
and AR for sure are gonna have to be
mhm,
integrated in the future because one, it's been hot as Hades all summer. Most people did
mhm,
not want to get out as much. So imagine where you could virtually attend or go through an AR experience or a VR
yeah,
experience or something where it's literally allows you to literally drop into the open, not open, yeah, the Open, US Open allows you to drop into that. So there's just so many things that are gonna have to happen because it's hot as heck outside. And
yeah,
I'd rather stay in for the most part until
yeah,
after a sundown. But entertainment is gonna have to change as it relates to outdoor spaces, particularly in the South where it's hotter than most
mm,
places during the summer.
yeah. Oh man. So we still have so many updates. It's crazy how much stuff happened this week. So all right. So next
Hmm.
up we have Meta AI, and they partnered with CMU Robotics, and they created this is for like a robot, for a real robot, and
Okay, great.
the robot, a robo agent, and they call it they say it's just developing non-trivial skills. And it looks like it's going to be more for like tactile actions when I saw like moving objects. And I
Hmm.
was like, wow. I mean, I'm sure you guys seen that, but I just wonder how much faster it's going to improve, especially to like help people with like disabilities when they don't have like
Oh
range
yeah.
of motion and things like that. So I just thought it was so cool, how it's actually going to start helping more people, right? We have to have some sort
Mhm.
of positive, how we're actually using AI to help
Oh yeah.
humans. Um, so I thought that was just an amazing thing when I saw it. So you guys can go and check it out and look that up to see all the videos that they have because it's so interesting. Next up, Adobe Express is finally out of beta.
Oh
So
great.
that's good. I've been testing it probably for like the last, I don't know, month, 2 months, something like that. And I actually, before I never was really using Adobe Express, But then I started
Mhm.
using it, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I have access to so many more tools and resources and apps
Mm,
on it."
mhm.
So, it's, like, so helpful. You can think about it like Canva, but, like, on the a more
On
advanced level.
steroids. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing. So, I if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Adobe Express, because it's hosted on the cloud, you can use it online. It's not like you're gonna
Right,
need a
which is
desktop,
great.
like, to run Photoshop or something. So,
Mhm.
it's definitely approved by me. I really like it. Um, Next up, we have oh yeah, more AI tools from Google. If you go to ai.google.com, I meant to say it
Okay.
earlier. They have like 60 plus AI tools that you can start using.
Oh, great,
Um,
okay. I'm gonna
yeah, so
definitely check that
definitely
out.
start checking these tools out. We try to bring you, free tools, pay tools, in a way to, diversify what things that you can use. So I mean, there are just so many, but yeah, definitely go and check out Google because they're really coming out with amazing stuff. Um, Next up, we have Azure. They have a scale generative AI. And they said, I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. My handwriting is terrible. Y'all know that means I'm smart, y'all. But this is garbage. I can't even read my own writing.
That's fine, we can go to the next one.
So it says, no, it says that now they're using the NDH100 virtual machines, and they're trying to expand the Azure OpenAI services for customers. So it's just
Okay.
showing that once again, they're trying to make things easier, more advanced for their customers. Um, so now that when you're starting, trying to find a company, I definitely
Mhm.
recommend Azure, because they
Oh, yeah,
have a lot
Azure's
of
great.
amazing tool and advancements. So yeah,
Heck
so I
yeah,
definitely
Azure's been
recommend you
around
guys
for a
check that
while
out.
too.
Yeah. So next up, we have Open AI acquired the team at Global Illumination, and
I
that
saw
is a
that.
startup using AI to build creative tools, infrastructures, and digital experience. And the reason I brought this up, it's because now I wonder if now OpenAI is now trying to incorporate corporations, because now we know with ChatGPT is the general
Yeah.
population, but if they're
Mhm.
trying to partner with, well, not partner, they acquired the company, that is built specifically for like digital experiences. To
Right, yep.
me, that says corporation, enterprises, businesses, B2B. Um, so it's interesting, and I wonder how they're going to start creating more advanced AI tools for bigger companies. So I thought that was, an interesting thing for people to pay attention to.
Yeah,
Next
that
up, we
one was
have. Go
let
ahead.
me jump in on that one real quick. So that one was funny because OpenAI, right now is running a bit well, assumption is running at a loss, right? OpenAI, I don't know if folks realize how much money OpenAI has raised, like to the tune of
Mhm.
billions of dollars. Like they've raised a lot of money. So in my mind, they're gonna have to acquire some of these companies that they can turn around for profit to be able to be successful. Because I don't think OpenAI's current Chat GPT is making enough money through the subscriptions. Because right, it wasn't originally a money making thing. It was research, and then
Mhm.
it now created its another arm that goes into more of the for profit stuff, but they're
Yeah.
gonna have to acquire like any other company. If you're gonna stay in the game, you gotta acquire and gotta build yourself out and be able to grow. And the quickest way to grow is acquiring a company that already has it in house. So it totally makes sense. And I
Yeah.
appreciate the digital experiences piece. Back to again, what we were talking about a few
Mhm.
minutes ago. Like folks who are gonna win in the future for me is the folks who think about how we interact in this world in a different way using these tools
Yeah.
in front of us that go beyond just a flat 2D experience of you and I on a video chat or etc. Like folks are gonna need more, particularly kids who are already in metaverse type worlds and have very different experiences growing up that aren't in the real world. They're gonna have to figure out what that looks like for that next customer. I don't even think it's for us. I think it's for the customers that are behind us that are already very
Yeah.
much so digital natives.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that, because that's definitely true. Because I'm sure they're thinking like 10 steps ahead, like you said. So
Hmm.
that's definitely, I'm looking forward to see what they create. I wonder if, especially like with like all those art immersive experiences, and,
Oh yeah.
how much more fun events will be in the future too. I think
Mhm.
that's going to be interesting. Um, All right, so next up we have with AliBaBa has is creating more new open source large language models. And to be honest, we
Okay.
have to do another entire video on AliBaBa because I don't think
Oh
people
yeah,
understand how many
we don't.
models they have. The last time I checked, okay, it was over 600.
Oh
Okay.
wow, yeah,
So
that's a
while
lot
we are clapping and being happy that
for
we're
one.
getting a few, they're like, you mean our 600th model? We've done that months ago,
Right,
darling. We've already
right.
got that, boo. So it's like,
Hmm. Yep.
y'all need to catch up, people. And that was before. They probably have way more now. And they're far more advanced. Like when I'm looking, I'll have to do like a video where I actually show you like the videos and things that they're doing,
Oh yeah, it'd be great to see it on the
because
back end.
it is insane. What they've done. And I wish some of this is why they're probably banned. We can't use a lot of their software over here because to be honest, we are actually not allowed to access most of their software. That's why so many people in the US, I know we get hyped over things, but I'm like, I don't think you guys have checked out what they have over
Mhm,
there
mhm,
because they're banned. We can't even access them. Have
mm,
VPN.
mhm.
But anyway, so you may have to be able to check out some stuff that you've never seen before. But I'll show you soon. It's insane. So anyway, next up, then we also have another controversial issue. I love my controversies. so
What happened?
OpenAI, so OpenAI signed a deal with the Associated Press to license
I
news
didn't hear about this one.
stories. I couldn't
Deal.
hear you. Say it
Okay.
again.
I said I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, so the journalists were a bit upset because I'm like, are we gonna get access to that information? What do you mean if we know that OpenAI is through ChatGPT can write articles and the Associated Press is now what are they gonna start writing just AI generated articles? Is it gonna be overseen
Mm,
by a professional journalist? What are gonna be the parameters for them creating licensed news stories, or is it in
right. I'm
reverse,
like, what does that
meaning
even mean? That's why I'm
will
confused
they
on literally
create
what
the
it means.
stories that can then ChatGPT then can access and say
Oh,
it's
okay.
verified? So I wonder if this is going to be a way for ChatGPT to become more
Up
of
to
a
date.
license platform because they can say, oh no, this is verified by a human being. And now the information, the references, the citations, everything has been reviewed. And then now you have access to accurate information. Because that would
I think
be
that makes
more,
sense.
that would yeah, so I wonder if it's actually the reverse versus the other way
Right.
around that people are more worried about. Because we know everything is moving now towards research. So for me, I'm thinking it's
Mm,
going to actually the reverse to be licensed to be verified. And actually, that's a huge
yes.
moneymaker because then companies can say, hey, you can access our entire database of
Mhm.
articles,
Yep.
say,
Or
give it to
any
your
information.
consumers.
Mhm.
Exactly. Give it to your consumers on ChatGPT. It can have like a little check mark verified, and now your customers feel safe in using that data and information. I think that makes more sense than, oh, we're just writing random articles.
So I think it's actually what you just said. I think it actually is
Mhm.
the goal is I just quickly Google while we were sitting here. So I think it actually is that they're licensing to their text database to train
Mhm.
the model to be better, which
Yeah.
is needed because I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all are experiencing this recently, but Chat GPT 4 in particular, I have 4, it is not as it's getting a little wonky. In the last few months,
Mhm.
it's not performing as well as it was when it first came out. So I do have
Yeah.
concerns about that, and even to the point where, like, it was telling untruths in the beginning, but
Mhm.
now even when you put in the information, it's spitting out false information when literally the information you send, and I've literally had to say it to it, hey, that's not correct. That's actually
Yeah.
untrue. And it'll say, oh yeah, you're right. Let me fix it again. And there's multiple times where
Yeah.
it gets it wrong back to back, and it's not able to be there. So just a reminder, it's still a chat tool, like it's not
Yeah.
this thing where we can rely on it in a way we could, but partnerships like this are going to be very crucial in the future.
Yeah, so I really hope that's what they're doing. I would actually like to see more companies doing, especially if they have like decades of data and
Oh, yeah.
research and information. That would be really
That's not
interesting.
going anywhere. That's not all the
Yeah.
journal articles that humans don't read. That would be great to put
Mhm.
those in there, and people can actually
Yeah.
get the information in a way that's easy to digest.
Yeah. And they may have to also put like labels, like for example, a research article versus like an opinion
Yep.
based article.
Oh, yeah.
So
That
that
would
would
be
be
amazing.
interesting to see how that's affected. All right. So next up,
Wait,
there's
I just thought about something.
go ahead.
I just went to future version. Imagine though if they had those partnerships and it could
Yeah.
tell you if someone writes an opinion. Imagine if you got flagged if you were telling things that were not related to something. That would be cool. Or if there's a journal article where you have conflict, it'll say, well, this article is saying something else.
Uh
I would
huh.
love that just for the things I love and learning. Like for you to actually know what's an opinion, what's not, where they got the information from, being able to like tag it in that way. I would
Yeah.
love that for AI to do that for us.
I mean, I love a good controversy, so that would be
That
interesting.
was not bad. That one's fine. I'm okay with that one. I'm like, that should
Well,
happen. They should have did that before, but
people are
that's
gonna
okay.
say opinion is in the eye of the beholder. You know, we're gonna
Which
see
is
what's
great,
real and
but
what's
there's
fake.
also facts in the opinions that we can also say, "Hey, there's actually a link here that shows the true facts related to that." I'm fine with people having their opinions for sure, but if you're
Yeah.
saying an opinion that has a false information in it, that we can't do that with AI, and then AI doing it, like that's too much.
But you know what happened with those kind of posts from like 2020, and people were like, "Well, this is factual. This isn't factual. We won't say the word, but we all know what that was." So who
Yeah, that's
chooses
what
what's right and
but
what's
that's
wrong?
but that's my point. If AI has the actual information on like research, I'm talking research. I'm not talking about opinions,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
imagine if we have research that has been verified and then someone says something and then literally it's
yeah.
like, "Oh, here's the article to what actually happened." Or here's the link to what actually
Oh,
happened. And
oh,
someone
I
literally
see what
says,
you're saying. I
that's
see
what I
what you're
mean.
saying.
Yeah, like it like when we say
Wow.
gravity doesn't exist, oh no, here is actually how we know gravity exists points to here. So then it helps to balance out because if these tools are going to be creating information that people are concerned about misinformation, so they can have the data to actually just check it and say, hey, if you want to believe it, it's fine, but also here's another thing to think about. Because humans, we're gonna take it in. So you got to give folks
Yeah,
people
yeah,
believe what they read because we come from a culture that was very strict on what we write was true. We're not there anymore with digital
yeah.
writing. So you can't not train someone's brain to think what's written is true and then not give them the counter to what's happening. So yeah, that's
I
what I
could.
mean.
My mind was running. I'm not gonna say nothing. Now my mind was just running, just thinking
Oh,
about
okay.
the
Yeah, that's what I
issues.
meant. Like literally, let's if something is someone said opinion, the opinion is not true, you just link to it and say, hey, here's another thing. You should read it or not. You have the choice too. So that works.
Yeah. All right. So next up, Google is also testing an AI tool that writes news articles as well. I think it's called the Genesis tool. Um, so that will be
No, I use
interesting
no.
as well, to see how that's going to affect, more of like opinionated pieces, because if it's AI and it's based on facts, then eventually it's not. It's like, where are the opinions actually coming from? Because eventually is
Take
AI going to
time.
just start forming its own opinion about everything? It's like, well,
Or it's
that's a
just
Alice
mixing
in
opinions up.
Wonderland type of situation.
But
So
I think that's a part of the problem with ChatGPT now. Even when it tries to do an opinion, the opinion is based off of
yeah,
all the stuff it's read, and sometimes it just doesn't get it right. Like
yeah,
there's something about I'm less scared of, especially around like things that are very intrinsic to humans, those things being
yeah,
replaced. I think in areas where we repeat things over and over again, like creativity, is still
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
creative. It's using human stuff to be creative. When if it gets to
Hmm.
the point of it starts to create on its own, not using human databases and figuring it out, that's when I will say it can replace a human truly. I think it can
Yeah.
replace humans where things are very much so a process, a procedure that doesn't have a lot of deviance and
Hmm.
or a lot of data can help you make better decisions. I think is there, but creativity,
Yeah.
I'm not there with it yet. With creativity and having a thought of its own, it's just
Hmm.
putting out thoughts we already know about. It says it better than I can, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a lot. All right, so next up, we have Google DeepMind. This one I think
Hmm.
you'll like a lot because it's kind of connected. But basically, that tool is to give life advice, planning, and tutoring. Now, I do have to say a few things before just to make sure we're saying it accurately. So, they are creating, I think, like 21 tools. It's not meant for therapeutic use,
I
which
need
is
to
a
hear
good
that.
thing. Yeah. Don't think you're gonna have an AI psychologist yet. We do have to have ethical responsibility, so that's a good thing that they did that. They also mentioned that yes, even with the Bard chatbot, anytime somebody asks for mental health advice, it's only going to give you resources where
Yep.
when asked for therapeutic
Hmm.
advice.
Hmm.
So I wonder what kind of life advice or planning is it just going to be? Um, I actually think it would be good for like businesses. Like, are they going to
Oh
start
yeah,
then creating
sure.
articles and then link to the businesses? Is this more like a business marketing tool where, they can connect people with, psychiatrists, psychologists,
Mhm.
people who are
Oh yeah,
actually professionals in the field to help individuals
right.
actually get the help that they need? So, I just wonder how they're going to actually take it. And I would actually like to see Google partner with more companies. So, like, it's kind of like telehealth, and then they can actually call
Yep,
somebody and just make it
exactly.
easier to use. So, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for so Google has a lot of information just the way it has tagged all this data and has so much data and images and pictures. So I
Hmm.
think it's super cool that they're trying to come out with a new resource that can help people. What I'm struggling with is anythanything called DeepMind. I think the name is a miss. Like, I'm just sorry. This Marcus, I like, don't call it DeepMind. Like, call it something else. Because then it gets you into this weird thing that it probably isn't that, right? Like, immediately I went into, is it about to tell people information about their psychosis, who they are, their psychology, what's going on in their brain? I don't want that, nor do I ever want that, right? I do not want that at
Right.
all. But I do like the idea of if it is able to help people who like you said, if it's helping with tutoring or helping people get access to
Yeah.
information and be able to ask really cool things, I'm totally fine with that. I need to look into this one more. But from what
Yeah.
if it's purely on a language model that literally helps people and it is not a thing that's trying to do something weird, just don't be weird.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
help
I think.
people.
Well,
That's
and
yes.
I'll
A
just
lot of people
say,
ask about mental health online. So I get it.
yeah.
Google has access to that. We ask all the questions we want to know in this world. We ask Google.
Yeah.
So if Google can literally answer those questions with the resource, I'm with you on that. And give
Yeah.
people what they need. Like I talked to you about this before with the legal field. Legal questions on Google are not good. Like or on any
Yeah.
search, like period, they're horrible because it hasn't been. They haven't been. Sites haven't been whitelisted. It hasn't been built in that way on the back end where it's easy to find legal information. The only thing that comes to the top is ads. So if it could help people get access to information and resources, whether it's someone who needs help, because people do type in stuff on Google, that's concerning. Imagine if
Yeah.
Google could give them a resource versus something bad happening to someone. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
But I definitely will look at that one a little bit more.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So, yeah, we can definitely do an update on that, once you get
Oh
some
yeah.
more information on, well, like once they release more information, because I think it's just like in the
Hmm.
beginning stages. So I don't
Oh
know if we
yeah.
have to wait for that to get more info on it. Next up, we have, oh yeah, this is more of like a interesting tidbit of information. So one of the
Okay.
creators from IBM Watson, David Ferrucci. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He created a new AI startup called Elemental Cognition, and he currently raised
Mm,
about $60 million for it. So,
way to go.
um, yeah, so I was like, that's amazing, and I just wonder what he's actually going to create. Because, like I said, Watson is actually one of my favorites. It's probably one of the
I
tools
agree.
that a lot of professional research scientists use.
Hmm.
Typically, they're going to be using in the beginning. We would access IBM products because there really were some of the primary individuals who were working with AI and given the proper resources. So that's typically what
Hmm.
most people were using as professionals. So um, I'm interested to see how he's going to really push AI to the next level. So that's something that we're going to watch out for in the future. But I did want to mention that so people can follow it. And it is called, oh yeah, Elemental Cognition. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but yeah. All right.
Yep.
We're almost there, guys. There was so many updates, and I
And
still
I've
had
been
to
very
cut.
behaved. And I've been behaved. I
You've
just want
been
to point out I did not do
very,
my normal
very
commentary,
relaxed,
and
very
I hold
relaxed
it
this
in.
week.
Yes.
I had to cut
Can't
out
guarantee that for
probably
future
like
weeks.
10 to 15 more topics because there were just too many.
Yeah, totally
Um,
fine. We have a limited amount of
yeah.
time, so I get it.
So next up, we do have to talk a bit about one of my favorite image to video sites, and of course that's RunWayML. Um, and now they added a new watch feature so that you can share your
Mhm.
AI generated videos like within a community. So I think that's really inspiring because if you're trying to get ideas, you're trying to see what other people are making.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a great way to like really see what the community is actually building with it. And, it's going to
Oh, yeah.
inspire you and get you more creative. So I just wanted to mention that. Like now I was working on making like my 3D avatar and trying to make a video,
Mhm.
and it was going to be through Runway ML. So I'm like really excited to see what other people create, because it's just so inspiring. People are doing crazy stuff that I didn't even think about before. So just to see what's
Right.
possible, it's amazing. Next up, we have the U.S. Department of Energy. They're allocating $16 million for 15 projects, and they're going to be focused on AI and machine learning for
Is that
advancement
enough
in
money?
the. I don't know. Well, we're going to see
That seems
soon.
low. Sorry. Okay. That
um,
seems very low.
well, I'm not sure what part of the budgeting campaign they're in, but they're gonna it's
A low
specifically
one.
for the advancement. It's for the advancement in nuclear physics research. So it is a very specific
You
topic.
said 16 million, right?
Yes, for
For how many
15,
projects?
15. I don't think it was
Okay.
billion. I'm pretty sure I wrote millions. There's no way it was billions. I'm pretty sure it was millions.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
sure.
but million is that's not a lot of money for 15 products. It's like a million and some change each.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry,
So
I'm shocked at the number.
yeah, you guys can double check me if it was billions, but I'm pretty sure it was millions and
No, I'm
not
pretty sure it
billions.
is millions, but that to me is not enough money to have meaningful research in anything,
Yeah.
let alone AI.
Maybe they were excited by watching Oppenheimer. I'm not sure. They're like, we're gonna.
Something happened. Even that had more money than that, but go ahead.
um, Next up, Meta. They're working on their code generation AI tool. And it's called Code Llama. So once again,
Okay.
more companies are getting into the coding side. So that's a great
Mhm.
thing. Um, then we have that the FDA, they actually cleared AI software to detect lung nodules and X-rays. So I was like,
I
wanted to
love
put
it.
another piece of how helpful AI can actually be to help people's lives. I mean, save their lives. Um, so especially now, with the FDA. So I wonder how many more types of software they're actually going to start implementing to help people, really find out what issues they have, to we need people. That's the foundation. So I was really happy, like that really put a smile on my face, because I wonder how many people, they'll be saved by that kind of software. And then the last one
Let me
that I
jump
really
in on
thought.
that one real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that one is one again back to healthcare because that's very close to my heart. I know
Yeah.
recently they were talking about how some AI models could identify breast cancer in a patient quicker than a human or almost better than a human or something like
Wow.
that. I can't remember the exact percentage. But I think it's going to be so important for AI to be trained on images of
Mm,
diseases, of or looking at how folks' labs are and what that can mean. I am so excited for that world. So I'm so glad that they are using that because think about when 100 years ago with medical field is till today, and think about in the future when we literally will not have the same issues we have because there will be
yeah.
advanced technologies working in our power. Like to me, this is the power of AI, right? Yeah,
Yes.
chats and all that stuff is all cool, but the power is to take all of the intelligence that humans have had and allow us to get information from everything we've learned over our time here on this earth. So I think that that is
Yeah.
just so critical, and I'm excited about that. But what is
Me
the
too.
last one? Hopefully, it's a good one.
It's a it's an interesting one.
Okay,
It's a little little,
help her,
you know what that
please.
is. A little controversial. But uh it's more about the AI drones building an apartment building in like 24 hours. Did you see that video?
I did
Have you
not,
seen
but you
it?
just stressed me out. I have not. I need to look it up. I just got stressed out
So
hearing you. But
the reason I brought this up, okay,
where did they
if we
build it? What
remember what
country?
this was in China,
Okay, makes sense.
they're like done. The reason I brought this up, the reason it's going to be slightly controversial, I mean, just a tad bit, I'm going to be pretty calm. You guys remember what happened in Florida with the immigration laws and when what happened to many
Mhm,
individuals who were immigrants and they were doing construction work. When they tried to replace those individuals with
mm,
citizens, they were not typically as efficient. There were not as many individuals who were there. They were not trained in construction, and a lot of projects had to be halted, right? What
mhm,
happens? Loss of jobs, right? Loss to the economy,
mhm.
to the local economy in Florida. We're talking about, restaurants. We're talking about
Oh,
gym,
yeah.
all those things where people are coming to socialize, to visit, to enjoy the
Mhm,
area, right? It's the trickle down effect. Um,
mhm,
so before, when that happened in Florida, many people were talking about, oh man, where are all those jobs people are taking? And when it's like the jobs are available, people, and people were like, no. Or they paid too low, or they were just not qualified. They had to be
mhm.
trained. Things were not going to be able to be done on time. So then the reality is now, what happens when you don't need either? When they're not using
You
immigrant
jumped off a
population?
cliff. I was going a whole other direction. Go ahead.
Well, because we have to always bring it back to the economy, the society, human people.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to end it back on us,
But
people.
America, at no time soon, is letting a drone build a building. Building codes here, just the laws and the policy, that will take probably my lifetime. I believe that truly. For
I
buildings, I think we would be
disagree.
a little
I
I think it would be
I
bad for building.
think
We're struggling with building codes even to this day, and they're so stringent. Like a concrete build, I don't even know what they built. So I need to look it up and see what they built.
it's
But
like an apartment
what that
building. It was gigantic.
but that's my point. So what they did 3D printing or how did they build it?
I didn't look at every single step, but
Okay,
they
got
were
it.
done in 24 hours. Now they did have a few people. Okay, they did
Yeah, I
have a
was like,
few
there's no
people,
way they did that and it's the code um in that
but
way.
I feel that look, it only takes one company to be within the code, within the innovation, making sure everything is done properly, to then inspire a whole bunch of other companies to do the same.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm here for that. I
so
just need to find this link.
I just wonder how that's going to start because look, let me fast forward to a couple videos
Mhm,
that I was going to do. I was going to
mhm.
do a video on, we know that AI is typically going to remove individuals who are college graduates. That means even with the situation with UPS, you saw how now they're getting paid way like over $100,000.
Oh, they're getting
And
that
I
good
was,
good money.
yeah, it's like, hey UPS, hello, I'm single. Um, so I was going to talk about the dating pool and the difference between, college graduates who were always like at the peak, right? That's the high value man. You want the 100K earner. And UPS is like, well, they make 100 grand too. So if we're looking at the white
Mhm,
collar workers who were going to be put out of work by AI, who would eventually then
mhm.
have to maybe enter the blue collar field. And I was thinking, well, the blue collar workers are going to be now placed at a higher level because they're going to be the ones with the benefits, the higher paid wages, because these are jobs that have to be done by hand. We're talking about laborers, right? It's more important.
Mhm.
But if we're starting to now foreshadow and project how drones and how AIs can be combined with robotics in order to now also do construction jobs to reduce the labor of people who don't have training, it's like they don't need to train. I mean, they're already trained with AI, so it's like they don't have to go through the physical process. They can work 24
Right.
hours. They're not going to need like health insurance and all of that other
Oh
extra.
yeah, I
So
understand that 100%.
I just wonder, it's like I'm already, the timeline I had is gone, is out the window, right? Because advancements
Mhm.
are being made so quickly. So I just wonder, that I wonder what's going to happen with that in the US. How long will it take? Could it be a few years? Could it be much faster? And then how
Mhm.
is that going to put, white collar workers, blue collar workers, if they're both now being replaced by AI? It's like, I don't even know
But
what's going to happen next.
I guess I think I'm less I'll say this because government in the US moves slow. So you're gonna
Hmm.
have two worlds. Like there's a world, like let's not forget, I think those movies get it. Like the ones with the dystopia future, they get
Hmm.
it where it's like high tech, but also high poverty and high issues. Like
Yeah.
nowhere in the future videos is everything just perfectly working together. Like I think
Yeah.
that we as humans we're just not as together as a group to do all that in one place. I believe there will be
Yeah.
cities that are more advanced and there will be places that
Hmm.
adopt it, but I do not believe in our lifetime personally, even with all the advancements, that we'll be able to see a dystopian future that has AI and robots doing everything for us. I think there's still going to be a heavy component of humans just because we're not integrated in a large society. And the global
Hmm.
world is also not integrated. So you can go to another place that looks like what America looks like this year in 20 years. You can go to another
Yeah.
place of what even looks like America at 1900. Like the world, even as advanced as the world is, we still have people living on less than $1 a day. Like, so
Hmm.
I understand one part of it, but I also understand that life just doesn't move as smooth and connected together. Yes, there will be pockets that it happens, but also every innovation we've ever had, a new job will happen. Maybe everyone
Yeah.
is a content creator because everyone doesn't have to work in the same way and you just get
Yeah.
money off your data. Like
Hmm.
maybe that's what it is, but there's going to have to be, and government will not let it be where society doesn't have any purpose. Even if with big businesses, they're not going to let it get to that point of private sector running everything to the point of it does not need any humans. So I don't think that will be a thing that government doesn't do anything about, just like they did something about China and the AI chips. They will
Yeah.
put regulations in to make sure that competition exists and that people, the majority of the population has to be successful because the US, one thing is going to worry about is its economy.
Yeah.
And as long as that, what they're doing right now, I think it is going to help the economy and people can find different fields and different jobs. And there's still things that AI just can't do the same as a human, and people aren't there yet. Our The kids are going to probably be more interested in those
Hmm.
worlds, but it's too many people who are over a certain age that would rebel against it for so long. People are still on flip phones. Like I need us to
Yeah.
understand that even though smartphones are heavily existing, people are still on flip phones. Some people do
Yeah.
not have a laptop in their home. Like that is the reality that we face in this world. So I think that there will be a separation and there will be a big gap, but I don't think it will catch up in all sectors in that way. I think
Hmm.
you'll see it in pockets and the pockets will get really good at it.
Yeah. Well, I think you
Even
said
with
it best. I
cars.
think that's the perfect balance, though.
Yeah, I think it's a good to have a mix. Even with cars, like it's gonna all these companies are now doing EV and people don't even realize EVs were out when cars first came out. Some of the earliest EVs existed. I actually went to a car museum last year and they had electric vehicles from the early 1900s in there. They
Yeah.
didn't get adoption, but now EVs, everyone's doing EVs and saying that we need to
Yeah.
have full EV implementation when the reality is folks are saying we can't have full EV implementation because of the electric grid and what that means. And then what it means to do all those batteries. Like just by pure resources, we don't have what we need to be able to do things at the level that we hope we would be able to do.
Yeah.
So I just want us to remember that it still involves a lot of human components of a human being involved. So I'm not scared of
Yeah.
AI because I'm like, I think the time, even though stuff is happening quick, I think we'll have time as humans to adjust.
Hmm.
iPhone came out in '08, we adjusted and we use it in ways that we never thought we could use it. Internet came out and people
Yeah.
have made so much money off the internet, more they could have ever made without it. AI will also do the same thing. So I'm just looking for how can we use it to help people better their lives. And in that, let's make sure people are getting the training they need in some job or field that they can contribute to society. So
Yeah.
sorry for this
Well,
soapbox moment.
you said it. I agree with you. You said everything perfectly. So that's it, man. We went through all of these updates. We made it. Thank you for sticking with us. I think you can go ahead and close us on out, Amber, because we had so
I
many updates
will.
this week.
This has been fun. I love all the conversations that we had. We will be back next week. We're trying to figure out the whole channel thing. So I will definitely every week post a podcast for this. So please make sure you check out the podcast AI Decodes the System. Check out Marcy Newell's page as well on YouTube and AI Decodes on YouTube. We'll try to figure it out because the way copyrights are set up in YouTube, you're not letting me be great. both of us own the copyright. Let us both post it to our pages. But
Yeah.
if you don't see it on one of our pages, it's on the other. So make sure you follow us both. Hit that notification if that is on YouTube. I know it's on Instagram and other sites. So yeah, make sure you get our information and that you're following us. And thank y'all again. It's been great. And enjoy the weekend. This is AI News of the Week with your go-to girls for AI, Amber Ivy and Marcy Noel. Have a good one.
Bye
Peace.
bye.